Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're pulling back the curtain on something, well, something many of us have dreamed about, but maybe few truly understand: the lottery.
Right.
We're going to unpack everything from its ancient origins right up to those massive multi-state games like Powerball and Mega Millions that, dominate the headlines today.
That's right. Our mission here is to help transform you. Maybe you're a casual player, maybe just a curious observer, into someone who's really well informed about this fascinating and often surprising world of lotteries.
Yeah.
We'll look at how these games work, the frankly mind-boggling odds, the complex world of payouts and taxes, and even those intricate machines designed to ensure fairness.
So if you've ever wondered, where does the money actually go? How do they pick those numbers? Or what would you really get if you hit that huge jackpot? Well, you're in for some surprising facts and maybe a few aha moments. Let's dive in. Okay, so at its core, a lottery is basically a game of chance, right? Drawing numbers randomly for a prize. But it feels like more than just a simple game, isn't it? There's this whole infrastructure and purpose behind it.
Absolutely. I mean, the basic mechanic is simple.
Hmm.
Players pick numbers, and if those numbers match the ones drawn by the lottery administrator, they win.
Okay.
A really common form is lotto. You pick, say, 6 numbers from a set, like 1 to 50, and the order usually doesn't matter. It's straightforward at heart, but yeah, the implications are significant.
And who's typically running these operations? Is it always like a government thing?
In the U.S., yeah, most of the big cash lotteries are administered by state governments.
Right.
Their main goal, often it's about raising revenue.
Mm-hmm.
Money for public initiatives like funding education, maybe treatment for gambling addictions or environmental protection.
Hmm.
But it's worth noting, lottery proceeds, they usually only account for a pretty small fraction of a state's total revenue. So it's important, but definitely not their only funding source.
Right, right. So it's not exclusively government involvement then. I'm thinking about, smaller things, local events maybe.
You're right, exactly. While the state-run lotteries are the most visible,
Mm-hmm.
you do find lottery-type games elsewhere. Like in certain casinos or even informal ones, think like 50-50 raffles run by schools or nonprofits.
Oh,
In those cases, yes, some of the money goes to the organization and some goes to the winner.
gotcha. So for someone looking to play one of the big ones today, what's the typical experience? How do you get a ticket?
Well, the most common way is still through authorized retailers.
Yeah.
Gas stations, convenience stores, supermarkets. Many of those now have self-service kiosks, too. And for digital convenience, about half of U.S. states actually allow some form of online ticket purchase now.
Interesting.
Players can pick their own numbers, lucky numbers, or just opt for the randomly assigned quick picks.
Right.
Ticket prices vary. Drawing games are often around maybe $2 or $3, while those instant win scratch-offs, they can range anywhere from $1 up to $20, sometimes more. And usually the higher cost corresponds to, a bigger potential jackpot. The whole idea of a lottery, it actually stretches way, way back, a millennia, really. The first recorded signs, they date back to the Chinese Han Dynasty, between 205 and 187 BC.
Wow. BC.
Yeah. These early Keno slips, they're actually believed to have helped finance major government projects, even possibly the Great Wall of China.
So the key insight here isn't just like a fun historical fact. It's showing how even thousands of years ago, governments were cleverly using, well, human hope maybe, to fund these massive projects. That basic idea still applies today, doesn't it?
Precisely. That's the core takeaway. And in Europe, well, the first known lotteries were during the Roman Empire, often just amusement at dinner parties.
Huh.
Emperor Augustus even organized one to fund repairs in Rome.
Right.
Every ticket holder won something, though the prizes weren't equal.
Okay.
But the first known cash lotteries for public projects, that dates back to the 15th century. In the Low Countries, like modern-day Netherlands and Belgium,
Right.
towns used them to raise money for, say, fortifications or to help the poor. And they were so popular, they were actually hailed as a kind of painless form of taxation.
A painless tax. I like that.
Exactly. And fun fact, our English word lottery, it actually comes from the Dutch word lot, which means fate.
Huh. Fate. So lotteries really did shape public finance back then, acting as this early kind of indirect tax, that painless tax idea. Well, that must have been super appealing for governments. Did this idea cross the Atlantic?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
King James I authorized an English lottery back in 1612. The purpose?
Eh.
To help fund the Virginia Company of London for its settlement in Jamestown.
Right. The colonies.
Exactly. Lotteries played a huge part in colonial America. They financed over 200 public and private ventures, including the founding of colleges like Princeton, Columbia, and the University of Pennsylvania.
Wow, universities.
Yep. Benjamin Franklin even organized one to buy cannons for Philadelphia's defense.
No kidding.
And later, the Continental Congress used lotteries to help fund the colonial army during the Revolutionary War. Alexander Hamilton actually noted, everybody will be willing to hazard a trifling sum for the chance of considerable gain.
Hmm.
So given how unpopular direct taxes were, and still are, lotteries became this really crucial, popular form of hidden tax for building the nation.
It's just fascinating how lotteries keep popping up throughout history for these big governmental goals,
Mhm.
funding walls, royal debts, wars, universities. It's like this recurring pattern, a fundamental tool. Okay, let's shift gears and talk about the big names in the U.S. today. Powerball and Mega Millions. These are the ones that, grab the headlines, the ones with those absolutely staggering jackpots that capture everyone's imagination.
They certainly do. And a big reason for that is they're both multi-jurisdictional games.
Meaning lots of states participate.
Exactly. Many states pooling their players, and that's what leads to those enormous prize pools. They also both use something called a two-drum system to draw the numbers.
Two drums, what's that about?
Well, it's actually quite ingenious. It allows the operators to uh, manipulate the probabilities more effectively. They can create those massive headline-grabbing jackpots, but also offer lots of smaller prize levels to keep people playing and feeling like they have a shot at something.
Ah, okay. Makes sense. So let's start with Mega Millions. Can you give us the rundown? How does it actually work?
Sure. Mega Millions, it actually started as The Big Game back in 1996, then got renamed in 2002. Drawings are twice a week, Tuesdays and Fridays.
Right.
And it's offered in, I think, 45 states now, plus D.C. and the U.S. Virgin Islands. To win the big one, the jackpot, you have to match 5 white balls chosen from a large pool, 70 numbers, I believe, and then 1 gold mega ball from a separate, smaller pool of 24.
Okay, two separate pools. That's the key.
That's the two-drum system in action. A play costs $5 now, and the game includes an optional feature called a megaplier. It's a multiplier, 2x, 3x, 4x, 5x.
Right. Boosts the smaller prizes.
Exactly, boosts the non-jackpot prizes.
Yeah.
But interestingly, California doesn't offer the megaplier because of their state law about parimutuel betting.
What's that mean again?
It basically means the prize money is divided among the winners based on how much was bet overall, rather than offering fixed prize amounts or multipliers. So California prizes can vary draw to draw.
Got it. And the minimum jackpot?
Minimum advertised jackpot is $50 million, and that's paid either as an annuity over 30 years or as a smaller cash option.
Okay. And Powerball, the other giant, how does that compare?
Pretty similar structure, actually. Powerball's predecessor was Lotto America back in '88. It changed to Powerball in '92 and was actually the first game to use that two-drum concept.
Ah, the pioneer.
Right. Drawings for Powerball are 3 times a week now, Mondays, Wednesdays, and Saturdays. Also offered in 45 states, D.C., Puerto Rico, and the Virgin Islands.
Okay.
Winning the jackpot. Again, match 5 white balls, this time from a pool of 69, and 1 red Powerball from a separate pool of 26.
Slightly different numbers, but same concept.
Exactly. A basic play costs $2. And like Mega Millions, Powerball has an optional add-on, the Power Play, for an extra dollar. Multiplies non-jackpot winnings.
Right.
There's also another option called Double Play in some states. For another extra dollar, you can reuse your numbers in a second, separate drawing for a fixed top prize, usually around $10 million. And again, California, because of that parimutuel law, doesn't offer the Power Play option.
It really sounds like both Mega Millions and Powerball are just meticulously engineered, aren't they? Designed to create maximum buzz, and it's just eye-popping jackpots. What's the single biggest factor driving those record-breaking numbers we see today?
Well, it's really a combination. The multi-jurisdictional nature is huge.
Yeah.
All those states contributing to the pot. And that's combined with the two-drum system, which, as we said, makes the top jackpot harder to hit.
So it rolls over more often.
Exactly, allowing it to grow and grow. Powerball holds the current record, that massive $2.04 billion jackpot won in 2022.
Just incredible.
Mega Millions' biggest hit, $1.602 billion in 2023. These huge numbers are a massive part of the appeal, obviously. And it's worth remembering, back in 2010, the two groups actually reached an agreement to cross-sell tickets.
Ah, so most states could offer both games.
Right. And that just further fueled the growth of these massive jackpots. More players, bigger pools.
Okay, let's get down to it then. Brass tacks. We all dream about winning, but what are the actual odds? Like, really?
Okay, brace yourself. The odds of winning a major lottery jackpot are Astronomically low.
I figured. How low?
For Powerball, it's 1 in 292.2 million.
Ooh.
For Mega Millions, it's currently 1 in but 290.5 million. Basically the same ballpark.
Okay, put that in perspective for me.
Right. Well, think about this. Your chance of being killed or injured by a lightning strike in any given year, that's about 1 in 187,000.
Okay. Much more likely than winning the lottery.
Much more likely. Your lifetime chance of dying from a hornet, wasp, or bee sting, about 1 in 47,000.
Wow. Okay. That really hits home. Winning the lottery is just incredibly improbable.
Extremely improbable, considerably less likely than these other rare but, very real occurrences.
So why are the odds so incredibly stacked against winning? Is it just the math of the number combinations, or is there more to it?
Well, the combinations are a huge part of it, obviously, but it's also strategic. Lottery operators have actually deliberately reduced the odds of hitting the jackpot over time. They've changed the number of pools, things like that.
To make it harder. Why?
Exactly, to make it harder to win. That means the prize money rolls over more often, and it grows to those really newsworthy amounts, $500 million, $1 billion.
And that drives sales.
Precisely. It drives ticket sales like crazy and gives them tons of free publicity. So it's a very deliberate design choice to generate excitement and ultimately more revenue. It's not just random chance dictating the odds structure.
Okay, let's imagine the impossible happens. Against all those odds, someone actually wins. They see that billion-dollar jackpot advertised everywhere. Do they really, truly get $1 billion?
Well, not exactly. Not in a lump sum, anyway. That huge advertised number, that's the total amount of the annuity payments a winner would receive over decades, usually 29 or 30 years.
Oh, okay. Paid out over time.
Right. Most winners, actually the vast majority, opt for the lump sum cash option instead. And that amount is significantly smaller.
How much smaller?
It varies, but take that $1.58 billion Mega Millions jackpot in August 2023. The estimated lump sum payout for that was about $783 million. And that's before taxes.
Wow, okay. That's a massive difference from the advertised number. Almost half.
It's a huge difference, which makes the choice between taking the lump sum versus the annuity incredibly critical.
Yeah, it sounds like a monumental decision. What are the sort of pros and cons of each way?
It absolutely is a huge decision. Okay, so the lump sum. The big pro is obvious.
Right.
Immediate cash. You get full access to your winnings right away. And most people prefer this. Over 90% of Powerball and Mega Millions winners take the cash.
Okay. Control.
Right. It allows for immediate big investment, paying off debt, whatever. But the big con, well, it's the risk of overspending or just poor financial management,
Right.
blowing through it too quickly.
Right, the classic stories.
Exactly. Now, the annuity. The pro here is steady, guaranteed income spread over, like we said, 20 or 30 years. For Powerball, it's 30 payments over 29 years. And those payments actually increase by 5% each year.
Oh, that's interesting. They increase.
Yeah, to account for inflation, theoretically. It guarantees a larger total payout over the entire period. And it can act as a kind of safeguard against squandering the money too fast.
Like forced budgeting.
Sort of, yeah. And here's a fascinating detail. Lottery annuities are often what's called annuity certain, which means if the winner dies before all the payments are made, the remaining payments can usually be passed on to their heirs.
Oh, okay. So it doesn't just disappear. That's good to know.
Right.
Okay. And then the other big factor you mentioned, taxes. That takes another huge bite, right?
Taxes are a massive factor. Huge. Lottery winnings are considered ordinary income by the IRS.
Just like salary.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Federally, they'll usually withhold 24% right off the top for winnings over $5,000.
Mm-hmm.
But if you win millions, you're almost certainly going to be pushed into the highest federal income tax bracket. So by the time you actually file your taxes, you could end up paying closer to 37% federally.
Ouch. 37%.
And that's just federal. Then you have state income taxes. And sometimes even local income taxes on top of that.
So state taxes can really vary, making a big difference depending on where you actually bought the winning ticket.
Oh, absolutely. It makes a huge difference. There are actually 8 states right now, including big ones like California, Florida, Texas, that don't impose any state income tax on lottery winnings at all.
Oh, lucky them.
Yeah, you're lucky if you win there. But in other states, the rates can range anywhere from, say, 2.9% up to over 8%. And if you live somewhere like New York City or Yonkers in New York, you could face 3 levels of income tax: federal, state, and city.
Wow. Triple taxed.
Yep. And going back to the annuity choice, choosing the annuity means each of those annual payments is taxed at whatever the prevailing tax rates are for that specific year.
Ah, so you could potentially hedge against future tax changes.
Exactly. Some winners might see that as a way to potentially hedge their bets if they think tax rates might go down in the future, though they could also go up. It adds another layer to the decision.
Okay, so if by some miracle you did hit it big, what are the absolute crucial first steps? What should you do immediately to protect yourself and this sudden fortune?
Okay, crucial steps. Number one, protect that ticket. Sign the back immediately. That helps establish ownership. Make copies, digital copies, photos.
Yeah.
Store the original somewhere really safe, like a safe deposit box.
Okay, sign it, copy it, lock it up. Got it.
Number two, stay calm and try to maintain privacy. As much as possible, avoid publicizing your win right away. Tell only who absolutely needs to know initially. Some states, about 21 I think, actually allow winners to remain anonymous.
But not all.
No, not all. Others, like California famously, require public disclosure of the winner's name and city. If you can't be anonymous, maybe look into forming a blind trust to claim the prize. That can offer a layer of privacy.
A blind trust. Okay.
Also, maybe wait a week or even longer before actually claiming the prize. Let the initial media frenzy die down a bit.
Good tip. Okay, what's number 3?
Number three, and this is arguably the most important, assemble a team of trusted advisors. Before you even claim the prize, you need a good lawyer, preferably one experienced in estate planning. You need an accountant or CPA for the tax implications, and you need a qualified financial advisor for investment strategy.
The holy trinity of wealth management.
Pretty much. They can help you rationally weigh the lump sum versus annuity decision, plan for those huge tax liabilities, and create a sensible long-term investment plan. Because sadly, many lottery winners do end up in a worse financial position down the road, often due to poor advice or lack of planning.
Right. It's also important to circle back and remember that the money from ticket sales doesn't just go to prizes and winners. A big chunk goes back into public programs, right? Continuing that historical pattern we talked about earlier.
Correct. That's a key part of the whole lottery system. Beyond paying out prizes, a significant portion of the funds generated goes towards funding public programs.
Do you have an example?
Sure. Take the New York Lottery, for instance. In the fiscal year 2023-2024, their traditional lottery games had about $8.2 billion in sales.
Wow. Billion.
Yeah. Of that, about 59% went back out as prizes. But a huge chunk, 32.6%, which was $2.7 billion, went directly to funding education in New York State.
2.7 billion for schools.
Right. The rest covers things like commissions for the retailers who sell the tickets, operating expenses for the lottery itself, and fees for the gaming contractors who run the systems. So yes, a good chunk gets reinvested locally, which is a really key part of the lottery's broader societal role and, frankly, its public justification.
Given these massive stakes, billions of dollars, ensuring fair play must be paramount. What about the actual machines that draw the numbers? That must be a super high security operation, right?
Oh, absolutely. Security and transparency are crucial for public trust. There are two main types of lotto drawing machines used. One is called gravity pick, and the other is air mix.
Okay.
The core principle behind both, though, is verifiable randomness and transparency. Whether it's, solid balls being mixed by paddles or lighter ping-pong-style balls being floated by jets of air, the key is that the balls are always visible during the mixing and drawing process.
Ah, you can see them the whole time.
Exactly. They never disappear into hidden tubes or chambers where something sneaky could happen. That visual transparency is really important, especially because drawings are often televised live. It helps reassure viewers, particularly after, there have been tampering incidents in the past.
Okay, can you describe the gravity pick machine? You said that one's often seen as maybe more secure.
Yeah, the gravity pick machine, it typically uses solid rubber balls. They're dropped into a drum or chamber. Inside, there are usually two paddles that spin in opposite directions, mixing the balls thoroughly.
Okay.
When it's time to draw, the operator activates a sliding door or gate at the bottom. This allows the balls to pass, one at a time, down through a clear tube into a display area where the numbers can be read. Often there's an optical sensor, too, to make sure only the correct number of balls are released.
Right, controlled release.
Precisely. This type gained favor, partly because of, a pretty notorious tampering incident back in 1980 in Pennsylvania that involved the other type, the air mix machine.
Ah, okay, so the air mix machine was at the center of a historical scandal. What actually happened there?
Yeah, it's quite a story. In 1980, there was this scheme to fix the Pennsylvania Lottery's daily numbers game, which used an air mix machine at the time.
Okay.
The conspirators, including the TV host of the drawing, actually injected all the numbered balls except the 4s and the 6s with white paint.
Paint? What?
To make them heavier. The air mix machine works by blowing air to float the light ping pong balls. By making most of the balls heavier, they ensured only the lighter, untampered 4s and 6s could be blown up and selected.
Oh my gosh.
So when the drawing happened live on TV, the winning number came up, 666.
Wow.
And the conspirators, who had bought up tons of tickets with combinations of just fours and sixes, ended up winning about $1.8 million.
Unbelievable. I assume they got caught.
Oh, yeah, they got caught.
Hmm.
But the incident, understandably, led to major security overhauls across the lottery industry and definitely shifted perceptions about machine security.
I can imagine. So what kind of modern security measures are in place now to prevent anything like that happening again?
Well, security procedures have gotten significantly tighter since then, as you'd expect.
Yeah.
For example, the New York Lottery, they maintain several identical duplicate sets of lotto balls for their drawings.
Duplicates.
Yeah, before each drawing, one set is chosen randomly. And crucially, the balls in that chosen set are weighed precisely before and after the drawing to detect any signs of tampering, like injected paint.
Ah, the weight check. Smart.
Very smart. All the drawing equipment, the machines, the ball sets, they're kept in a secured, locked vault until just before the drawing. And often, state police or independent auditors oversee each drawing to ensure everything is done by the book. Powerball drawings, for instance, are now held at the Florida Lottery's secure headquarters in Tallahassee. Mega Millions drawings are held at the WSB PV Station Studios in Atlanta. Each uses specific, highly audited machines and procedures to maintain integrity. Public trust is everything for them. While that dream of hitting the jackpot is obviously incredibly powerful, it's important to state, from a purely financial, rational perspective, buying lottery tickets is generally considered a terrible investment.
Right, because the expected return is negative.
Exactly. Lottery prices typically only account for about 50% to maybe 60% of the total ticket receipts. So on average, for every dollar you spend, you're only getting 50 or 60 cents back in potential prize value. The rest goes to the state, retailers, and operating costs. You're starting with a significant disadvantage from an investment standpoint.
From a purely financial angle, yeah, that's undeniable. But clearly, people don't just play for the financial return rate. What role does that entertainment factor, or maybe just the slim hope, that fantasy of a life-changing win, play in why people buy tickets anyway?
That's a really crucial point, because obviously people do play in huge numbers. U.S. adults spend, on average, something like $338 per person annually on lottery tickets.
Wow, per person.
Per person, on average. And studies consistently show that a relatively small minority of players, sometimes called heavy players, actually account for the vast majority of lottery revenue.
Really?
Yeah, like a Minnesota study found that just 20% of the players accounted for 71% of all the lottery receipts.
Huh. That's skewed.
Very skewed. And this leads to criticism. Critics often argue that lotteries function as a kind of disguised tax, or even a regressive tax, because they disproportionately draw revenue from lower-income individuals, who tend to spend a higher percentage of their income on tickets.
Right. The tax on the poor argument.
Exactly. So while it's not a good financial move, for many people, it clearly fulfills some other need. Maybe it's the entertainment value, the dream, the fantasy, maybe even the social aspect of playing in a pool. It's complex.
And unfortunately, wherever there's big money and maybe desperation or just hope, there's also the potential for scams.
What are some of the common frauds people should be aware of related to lotteries?
Yeah, sadly, lotteries definitely attract fraud. One really common one is the advance fee scam. You get an email or a call saying you've won some foreign lottery you never even entered.
Right, the Nigerian prince of lotteries?
Kind of, yeah. They say congratulations, you've won millions. But first, you just need to pay a small fee or taxes or customs charges to release your winnings.
And the winnings never come.
Of course not. The fees just keep adding up if you fall for it. Then there are those systems people sell, claiming they have a secret method to improve your odds of winning. Those prey on a misunderstanding of probability lottery draws are random.
Right, can't beat randomness.
Exactly. You also hear about cashier scams sometimes, where a store employee scans a customer's winning ticket, tells them it's a loser, and then pockets the real winning ticket themselves.
Oh, shit. Very. And as we discussed with that Pennsylvania case, even the draw itself isn't immune to being compromised, though security is much tighter now. There was another big case, the Hot Lotto fraud scandal a few years back, where a lottery security official actually managed to alter the software that generated the random numbers to predict winning numbers on certain days.
Wow, an inside job.
A major inside job. So yeah, vigilance is key. If something seems too good to be true, it probably is.
Okay, after discussing the crazy odds, the taxes, the potential pitfalls, What do actual studies say about the outcomes for the lucky few who do win big? Does that stereotype hold true that they all just lose it within a few years?
That's a really interesting question, and the common wisdom might be wrong.
Yeah.
You often hear that statistic right. 70% of people who get a large influx of money will lose it within a few
Yeah,
years.
you hear it all the time.
Well, recent research has actually challenged that quite strongly. There was a significant study done by the National Bureau of Economic Research looking at lottery winners in Sweden over a long period.
Okay, what did they find?
They found that generally, people who won large sums tended to retain their wealth over the following decade. They didn't just blow it all.
Really?
Yeah. They often kept their jobs, interestingly, but maybe worked fewer hours or took more vacations. And importantly, their self-reported happiness and overall mental health tended to either stay the same or even increase after the win.
So the money didn't necessarily ruin their lives.
It seems not, according to this study. It really challenges that prevalent myth that winning the lottery is some kind of curse. It suggests that, at least for many, and perhaps with the right support and management, a big win can genuinely be life-changing for the better.
That's actually quite heartening to hear. Okay, so wrapping this up. From, ancient China building walls to today's absolutely mind-blowing multi-billion-dollar jackpots, lotteries are clearly this enduring and often pretty surprising human phenomenon. We've seen how they funded just about everything: wars, universities, public works. We've looked at how the mechanics are so carefully designed, both for excitement and hopefully for security, and the huge financial decisions winners have to make.
Yeah, the allure of that life-changing win is just undeniable, isn't it? But hopefully what people take away is that understanding the reality, the probabilities, the tax implications, the options for managing a windfall if it happens, that's really crucial. It's about being informed whether you play all the time, just occasionally when the jackpot gets huge, or not at all.
So the next time you see that giant jackpot number flashing on a billboard, maybe you'll have a bit more appreciation for the long history behind it, the intricate systems at play, and the really profound societal impact, for better or worse, that lotteries have had and continue to have.
Exactly. And maybe here's a final thought for you to ponder. When you buy that lottery ticket, what are you really doing? Are you just investing in a very, very long shot dream? Or are you actually participating, maybe unknowingly, in this centuries-old tradition that cleverly funds public good, a modern version of that painless tax we talked about? And perhaps it's even a form of collective entertainment, where the real win isn't always about hitting the jackpot itself. Something to think about.